Ah, of course the mic was muted. Hey, it's been a long time since
it always
is.
is.
Yeah,
it always is.
It's been a long time since we've done this. Yo, what's up, y'all? We got Zuthis in here. We got Matty Boots with us. What up, Matty Boots? You can hear me now, right?
Cracking, y'all. I can hear you.
All right, perfect. Yeah, no, thanks.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time without football.
I was muted. It's been a minute. I think it was week 9 the last time I streamed, and so it's just like life got in the mix. A lot of stuff got real busy. But I'm excited for a new season. Just to recap, real quick, and I know Matt, you already know this, but just for everyone, Zuthis is doing a 10-man and a 12-man league. Oh, that's pretty sick. Who should you pick to? Which pick? Okay. Which pick should I try to get with pick 8 in a 12-man league? Pick 8.
Ooh.
Depends. Is it PPR, half-point PPR, no PPR? Because that actually.
I like it.
Yeah, I like 8th pick. And 12-man.
I like towards the back end. I don't want to be last in a 12-man, obviously, but I do like 8 because then you get 8 and then 8 picks later, you're coming right back up, so you do get pretty decent.
All right, we're
run
gonna,
of you.
We're gonna actually look because it also depends on what platform you're on as well. So I'm gonna look at just the general consensus rankings here on Fantasy Pros, and typically what I've seen in the first round, it's PPR. Okay, cool. Yeah, so first round, we're looking at PPR rankings right here. I'm pretty sure this is PPR. Let me actually see. Standard
Nico.
PPR right here. Boom. Okay, so this is literally what we see. We see Jamar Chase. I've seen CeeDee Lamb go number 2 over Bijan a lot of the time, to be honest. I think CD and Justin Jefferson in PPR settings are like a little bit more valuable. That said, I still see Bijan go in the top 3, top 4 a lot of the time anyways. So that's not too bad. I've actually seen Jahmyr Gibbs get picked like top 2, top 3 sometimes. So these top 5, honestly, in this tier right here are pretty interchangeable. You could see any of them go at pretty much at any point in this range. Then when you drop down to tier 2, so you're talking like pick 6, pick 7, pick 8, I've actually seen Saquon leapfrog over all of these guys. Malik Neighbors, sure, he'll probably still stick around here. Amon-Ra, I've seen him sag a little bit in some drafts for some reason. I don't know why people are maybe down on him, down on the Lions in general. So he maybe will breach out of the top 8 potentially. So if you see him at pick 8, I would say definitely worth picking him up. You're gonna be right back, but the ad was thinking of Nico after the ad, but you were thinking of Nico. Okay. Nico Collins is down here ranked 10. I'm a little hesitant to go for Nico. Only reason, yeah, he's due for a bounce back year, sure. Texans were kind of low last year.
I don't think he can hear you, Ty. He's having an ad happen.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll still talk through it. He'll hear me on the back end of the ad, hopefully.
Well, can I just say, while you were saying this though,
Yeah, go for it.
Saquon Barkley kind of like scares me this year. Like last year, I think was the year to have him. Like, do we really think he's gonna he's gonna have a good year? But like, I don't think like, he's gonna produce like what people did, and like he got used so much last
I mean,
year.
they went to
Like,
the Super Bowl. They went to the Super Bowl. He played
right?
more
But what
games
I'm
than almost
saying
any
is
other
like,
player last year.
yeah, like doesn't
What's
like
up,
he has been injury prone. I can't imagine him. If they do it again, I would just be fearful of injury picking up Saquon Barkley. So like I'm probably avoiding Saquon this year.
I would say this. They have a phenomenal offensive line still. Even if he only gets like 80% of what volume he had last year, he'll still finish in the top 5 potentially of all running backs or higher. So their efficiency is out of this world. I mean, last year, if you look at the numbers, they were blowing teams out in the first half. They weren't even really playing their starters in the second half a lot of the times. You know what I mean? So it's like, so if you look at that in terms of the mileage that he got last year, yeah, he got a lot of volume and a lot of production. It looks like on paper, and he obviously.
So like, what was he?
Super Bowl.
200? Wasn't he like 200 yards short of breaking the NFL rushing record or something like that?
Yeah, I mean he literally got 2,000 yards.
Like,
yeah,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying in terms of usage and wear and tear on the machine. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna look at.
They're high end athletes, but that's just a lot of usage.
Yeah,
that freaks me
yards.
out. Like, yeah, that just freaks me out. Like, I've had such bad times drafting someone who was hot as fuck a year before, and then the next year was just like a dud.
Look,
got hurt.
If you're afraid of injury, Saquon is probably not the guy you want to get in the first round, right? Like if you're happy with taking super high risk, no, I mean actually it's not even that high of a risk, honestly, because again he played like all 16 games last year. I think they only sat him in the last game because they didn't play any of the starters. So yeah,
right.
he played every single week. He had some down weeks. You know, he had week 6 where he only scored 5.4 points. Again, like that's even with the 79 snap percentage. You know, 79% snap count. So it's like I think he's just gonna have a couple down games. Like he doesn't get touchdowns. Maybe Jalen Hurts gets those touchdowns. But I wouldn't be too worried about him. Yo, what up, Grenade Posse? How you doing? Why is Barkley falling? Because I'm so picking him up if he falls. Yeah, no, I like him in this area. Like honestly, I see potential with him going up around here. Like some people maybe in home leagues or whatever will reach on Saquon because they just like the guy. I like him personally. I think he's a cool dude. But I think, you know, in terms of why we're seeing him drop is because exactly what Maddie's just bringing up is like he had a lot of mileage last year. You know, 2,000 yards. A
lot of mileage.
He's getting up there in age. I think he's 28 years old.
Yeah, I was gonna say it ain't like he's a rookie either, too. Like, dude's been in the league for a hot minute, and he's overcome injury too. That's my other thing. He's overcome injury, and then they put him through the ringer.
I mean, he takes care of his body. Like he's one of the most disciplined players out there when it comes to diet and exercise.
They're professional. They're professional athletes. They have the best science people on the team to help them get the, you know. So I get it. Like I could be totally wrong. It's just one of the things that I fear after watching someone pop off is just like that's good. Like everyone's gonna reach for Saquon.
It depends. But if Zuthis is sitting, you know, in pick 8, staring down Saquon Barkley, who just slid to his spot right here, I would say
you pick up Puka. You pick up Puka.
I'm not picking up either of those guys, to be honest. I'm worried about, and we'll get into that. I want to address what Grenade Posse just said. Yeah, I won a fantasy chance, or he won fantasy taking a chance on Gurley after his ACL, and he boomed. That's right. I think I remember that league, that year. You're in our main league. What's up, Grenade Posse? How you doing? Yeah, I think I remember that year where you picked up Todd Gurley, and he popped off, and that was one of the big reasons why you won that year. So, yeah, it can happen. I mean, like,
it can. I'm not saying it can't.
The medical field has progressed so far in the past, couple decades, where like an ACL tear isn't the end of the road. For like any player really, especially like running backs or wide receivers or quarterbacks or like again any player. So they can come back from ACL tears relatively almost full strength, if not better sometimes. Like some players have their best years right after an ACL tear. You can look at Adrian Peterson for that example. Not Puka with Stafford injury uncertainty. Exactly. See that? I'm glad I'm not the only one that's worried about it. Yeah, he's back in practice. Him being Stafford. Yo, what's up? Poured up. Thanks for the follow, bro. Appreciate you. I don't really trust that Stafford's health is going to be okay, at least in the beginning part of the season. It's going to take him a little bit of time to maybe get back into the rhythm. Like he's missed all of this preseason and training camp so far. So he's like obviously a journeyman veteran at this point. He's one of the old guys. He's a Gramps in the league, which is why we're worried about his health. But as far as like preparation goes, I still think it'll take a couple games for him to get back into game rhythm, back into game speed. So like Puka, where he's going right now feels a little too high for me. Like I'd go Brian Thomas Jr. over him. I'd go Drake London over him right now. I'd go AJ Brown over him
Brian
right
Thomas
now. And that's as a Puka guy. I fucking love Puka. He's my dude. You know what I mean? He actually helped me win a championship last year, a couple. So I'm obviously a Puka believer. That said, you got a slow to start Matthew Stafford. You got a Devontae Adams on the team as well, which I don't necessarily think that's going to hurt Puka.
I don't think it hurts Puka. I think it helps him.
It absolutely could, and I think it absolutely does. But as far as like one bad tackle, one bad handoff, one bad, somebody steps on Stafford's ankle and he tweaks his fucking back. Like anything can happen. And I don't want to project out there because I love obviously what Puka and Stafford and the boys, here in LA got going on. Obviously, I'm from LA, but I'm a Bengals fan. We can talk about that later. Those who know. But yeah, like I'm a little lower on Puka. Like I said, I'll probably let him slide in drafts. If I get him at the 12, 13 turn or the round, end of round 1, top of round 2 turn. All right, be right back. I'm fine with that, But again, I'm picking up other guys over him. If we're talking wide receivers, Brian Thomas Jr., Drake London, maybe Nico Collins. We can talk about Nico Collins. I'm a little worried about Nico. I'm a little worried about the Houston Texans in general. Probably unfounded worry. It's probably just a little bit of the stink from last year. But I gotta see it to believe it, and I don't know if I want to take a chance on Nico in the first round like that. I'd much rather take chances on other guys. And if he falls in the second round, I'm looking at Nico Collins as my wide receiver 2 or my wide receiver 1 after I just drafted a stud like Saquon or something like that. Sure. I'll go Saquon, Nico Collins, but I don't want to, I'm not going to necessarily grab him over someone like even a CMC, dude, honestly. I actually think CMC is going to have a big year this year.
You want to know what stokes your boy out right now? Is that last year I had 3 of the top 15 PPR players on the team. Neighbors.
You had 2 of the top
BTJ. No, top 15.
Oh, top 15.
I had Neighbors.
15? Yeah.
3 of them. Neighbors, BTJ, and AJ Brown.
Damn. Yeah, that's pretty nasty, dude. Yeah, your team was great. I mean, you were leading the league in wins, I think, last year.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude,
we don't want to talk about that.
Yeah. If the league neighbors had been on any other team besides the Giants, I would have had, like, God forbid he could have been on the Chargers, and right. It would have just been game over for the Lopes League.
That honestly,
but no, he had to be on the team with Dan fucking Jones.
As much as I wouldn't want to see like the Chargers, who are in our conference, and obviously I wouldn't want to really any opponent getting better. I would actually love to see Malik Neighbors on the Chargers. I think that would be awesome. A fucking wideout like that for your boy Justin would be so sick. Yeah, no.
Oh my God.
Grenade Posse is like not as much as you're worried about your Bengals. Hey,
Oh yeah. Oh well, when we get to talking AFC North, I was going to ask you, did you watch any of that footage from the game on Monday? Because your O-line was letting people through like. It was just a free-for-all at a bar.
Oh, don't remind me. And the argument is like, hey, it's just preseason, guys. Like, we're not.
It's just preseason. That's what I mean. Don't let the quarterback die in preseason.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, it's just preseason. okay, these aren't real plays, but then like, why are you letting guys get through the line to hit your star quarterback?
Yeah, is that your nonchalant attitude you're going to take into the season of like, well, it was preseason, now it's
worried.
just the regular season?
Yeah, no, definitely. Grenade Posse says, Matt, you made some great calls last year, especially Brian Thomas Jr. I specifically remember you hyping him up during last year's Twitch scouting report, and you were spot on. There you go. Yeah, Matt. Hell yeah. No, Matt's been honestly impressing, I think, everyone with his takes lately, and just like, especially the last couple of years, and last year specifically, he was, the favorite to win. He had the first round bye in our league last year, going into the playoffs. So it's like he's obviously been really stepping up his game. I'd like to see Matty get there one of these days. I don't know if it's going to be this year.
I need to win.
I'm going to have to repeat this year. Obviously, we know who won Los League last year. It was your boy. And
I know, Mike.
But I'll see you in the championships, Matt. If that's what you're.
I want to be there.
Yeah.
See, Mikey Morrison's coming. Mikey Morrison's coming back with some fucking vengeance this year. I took the series 2-0 last year against him.
Yeah.
Usually it's split, or usually it's 0-2 in his favor, where I lose. So I think Mikey's coming back with a vengeance this year. He wants it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, no. Grenade Posse is always in it. You know what I mean? I feel like he's always in it. Yeah, last year was rough for him, though. Last year was rough. Yeah, you're coming from...
Yeah.
Yeah, we yeah.
Listen.
It makes sense why you'd be trying to just come out stomping butts this year.
We're looking.
Yeah. But all right, so let's get into these depth charts. Let me go ahead and make it a little bigger so we can just check it out. There we go. That's good. So we're starting off with the AFC North, obviously, because I'm a Bengals fan, but also just like it seemed like a great place to start off. There's some interesting teams here. There are also some not so interesting teams, Steelers, Browns. But we're gonna start with the Ravens, and we're just gonna see what we see. Hey, what's up? Do this. So we got Lamar Jackson, obviously. Today, I saw a report that he was stepped on or something like that. Yeah, 4 hours ago he left.
Yeah, he's fine
because a teammate stepped on his foot. He should be fine. As far as last year is concerned, he was the top fantasy quarterback, I believe, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he was literally the number one quarterback. He was actually the number one fantasy player with 430 fantasy points. I believe this is
so ridiculous.
Yeah, in a PPR setting, but. No, I mean, he's someone who I would definitely draft again. Let's see, where is he going right now? He is. Wait, what the hell just happened? He's going as quarterback number 2. So if we actually look at overall, he's going in the.
Whose number is what? Josh Allen, quarterback.
Yeah, Josh Allen's quarterback number 1. So Josh Allen's going pick 24. So early 3rd round. Essentially.
Everyone needs to be wary of Josh. Like. I said it last year, and I'm gonna say it again this year. There's a thing called the curse of hard knocks. Okay, it's a real phenomenon that people don't want to believe in, but it's true. So I don't see Josh Allen having the same year he had last year because they're featured on Hard Knocks this summer. So I'm just gonna throw that out there. People do with it what they want, but I'm just saying.
Josh Allen regression year. He just won MVP. He's kind of had a little bit of a struggle in the postseason. That's been plaguing him for sure. So, like, I'm in for a Josh Allen regression, just stat-wise, right? Maybe they still do well as a team and they, like, win games or whatever. But, like, I don't know if they're going to rely on him as much. I don't think they want to rely on him as much. That's actually part of the reason, and we'll get into this when we go over the AFC East. But I'm actually kind of high on James Cook. He's kind of going a little lower than I think he should.
He just got paid.
Yeah, and he just got paid. So I know people are like probably keying in on him as well. It's not just me. But like if we look at where James Cook is going, which is where the fuck is James Cook?
And then one more thing.
Do you see him on the screen? I'm looking for James Cook. Is he all the way down here? There's no way he's all the way down.
No, he's down. He's down more.
42. He's ranked 42 in PPR.
Yeah.
That's just, I think, a little disrespectful. He finished as the RB6 last year on the season. RB7, excuse me. Still, that doesn't mean he should be all the way down here after he just got paid. So, just a little secret for everyone out there who's watching. I know it's just a few of us, but this is some rare intel, or at least a hot take, we'll call it. James Cook is going to finish well above what his draft position is. And, where he's going RB15, he's going to finish top 5 RB this year. And I think Josh Allen is going to finish as like QB 4 or 5, which for him is a regression because he's been consistently in the top 2 to 3 in the last like 5 seasons, basically, in terms of QB finish. Last year it was 2.
Yeah.
Second to only Lamar Jackson.
Can I throw out one more thing about Saquon that we didn't even think about?
Sure.
He's on the cover of Madden. He's on the cover of Madden this year. So everyone,
Matt with the Madden curse, the Hard Knocks curse. He's got all sorts of,
really
superstitions.
Be careful on Saquon.
Yeah.
It's not me. It's literally not me. Christian McCaffrey went to Germany for some experimental treatment after being featured on the cover of Madden. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, no fair.
Zeus, I'm just saying, Saquon, he's on the cover of Madden. Just be careful. Be careful.
Okay, Matt loves to play these sort of like conspiracy things.
Always.
Well, that's fine. Do what you're gonna do, Zeus. I wouldn't put too much stock into it. We were already hearing whisperings of like CMC issues before. Well into like the early parts of last season, so we haven't heard shit about Saquon, so I think we're good. It's like 4 negatives that cancel each other out. Exactly. I think you should just move forward with your Saquon strategy. You're thinking of going Saquon and Henry if you can in your first and second if you get the chance. Definitely. So I mean, look, I don't know about how far Henry will drop. If you can get him in, what would that be? I guess pick 16 or something like that. Or, yeah, probably if you're in a 12-man league, you got pick 8. So pick like 15 or 16, you're going to have a chance to potentially get Derrick Henry. And let's see where he's projected to go. Pick 21, definitely. If he's still around, I would say grab him. That is if you want to go.
He was a tutty machine.
He was a tutty
machine last year. Hey, I said it this year, Ty.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's the year of the running backs this year.
It's the running back resurgence. We kind of saw it a little bit.
I'm saying
last
it.
Year. Just people weren't.
We saw the happenings, but I think this is the year that having the best running back on your team is going to yield you the championship versus having the best wideout on your team, for example. Remember that year that everyone who had Gurley won the championship? It'll be like that. Whoever has that guy is going to win the championship.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel you on that.
But
I just don't.
But it's going to be a running back this year.
It might be a running back. I just don't know who it's going to be. And the only thing I will say, Parson is expected to play. Okay. The only thing I will say about Derrick Henry, just an argument against why maybe he why he might not do what he did last year, which is tremendous. I mean, look at last year's stats. 325 carries, almost 2,000 yards, right? 16 touchdowns. He averaged 5.9 yards per carry. That's fucking crazy.
Jesus, that's insane.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see the stats right.
He's such a monster.
This fucking ad is huge. Jesus Christ, how do I get rid of this thing? Yeah, he's a monster. He's a beast. He's a freaking beast. So I'm just saying, he's 31 years old. Yeah, he's a freak of nature for sure, and I mean that in the best way possible. Derrick Henry, I'm one of your oldest fans. I actually drafted him in his rookie year when he sat behind DeMarco Murray for the entire fucking season. And so I've been a Derrick Henry believer since obviously his
Harry.
So I love my boy.
Yeah, no, you've been riding him for a while with but dude, the guy's a fucking monster. Last year, dude, he was 30 and he had how many tutties did he have? 16. Jesus Christ.
He had 16. Yeah, 16.
Dude, he's what? He was 29, 30 years old, right?
He's 31.
Yeah, I mean, the guy runs up sand hills like I'm walking on flat ground. So I just think
he's a monster.
You can't go wrong. Yeah, he's a beast.
He's a beast. So yeah.
And Denver always comes around once a year, so you're good for that at least.
You're honestly safe picking Derrick Henry. Again, it's kind of a travesty that he's ranked this low, RB7. It feels a little off to me. I would pick him up easily over Achane. I would frankly probably pick him up over Ashton Genty. It's not about I don't trust Henry or over Genty. Genty is a phenomenal talent, He's one of the best running backs probably coming into the league that we've seen in a while. So, like, don't worry about, like, if you're looking at Derrick Henry and Ashton Genty, I would still probably pick up Derrick Henry. That said, I'm still worried about Las Vegas as a franchise. I don't know if, like, Geno Smith is the answer at quarterback, even though he's one of my dudes. I love Geno, but, you know, like, that's a pretty big ask for him to just go into Las Vegas and, like, turn that franchise around. It's giving.
He's got Petey Carroll though. He's got Petey Carroll.
He does. He's got Pete still leftover from Seattle, and hopefully that situation isn't just, you know, a flashback to his Jets days. But I if we're talking about Ashton over Derrick, I'm probably going to pick Derrick Henry regardless. But let's see. Let's do this in. Any rookies you take early? I'm talking shit about Ashton Genty right now, but I probably would still take him in the second round if I had to. And I would probably also grab like an Amari and Hampton, who's I think way down here. Yeah, down here. I'd probably pick him in like the third round.
I like Hampton.
He's been.
I like Hampton
rising up draft boards. Yeah.
But I don't think I think once Pirate Najee Harris comes back, I think he's gonna be. Dude, the guy's had what, like 4,000 yard seasons in a row or something like that. Like, he's nothing to sneeze at.
Oh, you're talking about Najee? I'm not worried about Najee.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about Najee. What is the Ravens?
I just don't think that Hampton's gonna. I don't think Hampton's gonna like be as much of a workhorse as everyone is thinking right off the rip. Like, I think potentially maybe, but like it's gonna be very split. I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Like a TJ Warren Najee situation, basically.
Right. It'll be like this. It'll be a situation where, you know, in his like sort of final sort of productive year, and you saw Tony Pollard behind
Pollard. Yeah,
and
that's
it
right.
was clear that one guy was just much more electric, much better, much faster, quicker, all that stuff. Could you know, pass protect, all that shit, and that's Omari and Hampton. So yeah, Najee has the quote unquote like leadership role, or is like the senior person in that position. But like, dude, it's only a matter of time before Omari and Hampton fucking just takes that job and runs away with it. No pun intended. Honestly.
I know. I so hope he's the truth as a Chargers fan. Like, I want him to be like the next LT.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, so we're looking at the Ravens schedule. They got Baltimore
schedule.
Baltimore. Then they're home versus Cleveland, home versus Detroit. Then they're back in Kansas City, and then home against Houston, Los Angeles, and then they have a bye week 7. So their early part of the season looks honestly like some tough games. At Buffalo's pretty tough.
Yeah.
You know, home against Detroit, that could go either way. I think if Detroit is still like a top tier team, which they lost a bunch of coordinators.
Kansas City will be tough.
And then yeah, at Kansas City looks like they're trying to come back with a vengeance because they fucking ate shit last year, even though they won like most of their games, which is crazy to say. And then yeah, Houston will
be tough. I think Cleveland should be pretty easy for them. Like, as much as I loved what I was seeing out of Shador, like, yeah. But as much as I loved what I was seeing out of Shador, I don't think. I still think Cleveland. This is a growth year.
Yeah, Flacco's going to be starting this game, so this actually will be a revenge match for Flacco. So mark that on your calendars. Week 2, Browns Ravens. That's going to be a game to watch randomly. And I bet you that's why they named Flacco the starter, was to get those ratings. This playoff schedule is insane. Bengals, Patriots, Packers.
Dude, you guys got
the other RBs. Yeah, they did.
You and the Ravens got the turkey game.
Oh, did they? They got
you guys you guys are on Thanksgiving.
Oh, let's go! Hey, Bengals, Ravens, let's go. That's gonna be sick. That's at Baltimore though. That's kind of fucked up.
No, yeah, I mean, not fun for you, but like on Thanksgiving we get to watch some Cincinnati football.
And then we play again 2 weeks later. See, that's what I don't necessarily like sometimes, is when they put like division games so close to one another. It's literally just like 1 week away or 2 weeks away, dude. What's up, Lightning Archer? How you doing? We're back. We made it back on. We're back. It's been a minute. A lot has happened, but we're here. We're chatting football like we usually do, and it's been fun. It's been fun so far. So let's continue with the depth chart. Derrick Henry. The last thing I'll say on him, he's just a solid pick. No matter where you want to grab him, if you want to reach for him, that's fine. Honestly, I don't think he's going to necessarily like bust for you. But as far as like picking up other players that are more exciting on paper, I completely understand why you would do that. I'm probably going to do the same, unless literally it's like a travesty where I'm sitting there like end of the second round or beginning of the third round and Derrick Henry is still sitting there. I'll probably pick him up, which is kind of just a few slots behind where he's technically slotted to go anyways. But it's crazy that he's going around T. Higgins, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and Trey McBride. Like, I would pick him up over any of these guys. Again, probably even over Ash and Jay. Like, what are we talking about? Definitely over Achane. That's fucking insane. So these are some generous rankings for some of these guys. I'll just put it that way. But
listen, we always know the rankings are so optimistically made by whoever is doing them. Like, they don't take into account
there's some bias. There's
nearly, yeah.
And I get it.
Like, the only thing they really take into account is like injury. Like,
yeah.
Like even with like when last year when Jamar Chase was having contract disputes, he was still like super high when it was like a 50-50 chance that he was like going to sign because they weren't getting anywhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, how is it like? Yeah, so the rankings are, they're helpful, but also, like, your gut feeling is probably a little bit better than these rankings.
All I'm saying is just go get your guys. That's it. That's it. You got your gut feeling. They passed.
That's always been our rule.
Do that shit. Just go get your guys. And I feel bad. Zuthis is saying what exactly what I'm about to say right now is if Zay Flowers was one of your guys last year, you got burned. So I feel bad if you're one of the, if you're the Zuthis out there, some of the folks who invested a lot into Zay Flowers or at least just got him in any league. You felt bad because he kind of underperformed for you. Dude, you picked him up pretty
100%.
Yeah, and even though he broke 1,000 yards, he only got 4 touchdowns, and he was definitely pretty efficient when he did get those looks. But if we look at his game log, there were times where he was only getting 2 targets a game. Like 1 target here. I don't know if he got hurt that game. 2 targets, 4 targets. That's not going to get it done for you. You know what I mean?
Yo,
what's up, Elon? We're on stream, baby.
We're talking sports.
Nice.
We're talking footy ball.
Were you successful in getting the new Discord streaming working?
No.
Discord?
I'll have to figure that out later. But yeah, we'll have to pick this conversation up at another time for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't want to interrupt, but you down for some Dota later, or are you guys just?
Oh yeah, definitely. I might even stream the Dota.
Could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Have fun. Let me know when you guys are changing base.
Hope you have a beautiful day. All right, for sure. All right, Zuthis, take it easy, bro. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. We're back.
Later, big dog.
We're gonna do this more.
Okay. So, you know what the problem with the Ravens is? Is like they're basically the same team plus DeAndre Hopkins.
You mean minus DeAndre Hopkins?
Who's old? No, they have him. I thought.
Do they?
I'm looking at it right now.
Oh shit, you're right. Oh shit, I'm tripping. Yes, you're right. They have DeAndre Hopkins.
And like,
absurd.
The only like rookie person they got that's like a potential is LeJontay Wester, and he was a 6th round pick, so he was late as fuck. Like they beefed their lines up and their defense up before they went offense because they were pretty like they felt pretty solid in their offense, obviously.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. True.
Kid played for Coach Prime.
Oh, he played in Colorado. Oh, nice. Okay. Well, so I don't want to even talk about like Zay Flowers or Rashad Bateman or DeAndre Hopkins too much because the point is that this team does not really throw. It's a run first team. Yes, there will be some pass catchers who are relevant at any given point each week, but they're not really reliable. Like last year, we saw Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews sort of do a dance every other week.
Yeah,
he was doing something, which was
You got burned so hard if you picked up Mark
any of these
Andrews
guys.
any type of way early.
Yeah. So I would say if you're gonna take a chance on anyone, let's see where Zay Flowers is going because I don't even really.
I don't.
So
I
he's
was
down
gonna say I
here,
don't even think that's a chance.
wide receiver 25. Okay, you're talking about other guys like
There's
Jalen Waddle around, Calvin Ridley, George Pickens. I would probably pick 2 out of those 3 guys up. I'm not picking up Xavier Worthy, but I would definitely pick up Waddle, and I would definitely pick up.
I'd pick up Jameson Williams over Zay Flowers, even though
easily.
he's what 6 below him. Like
Yeah.
he's in a much more throw heavy offense. It's just to me, there's 2 people. There's D Henzo and Lamar, and I mean like
and then everybody else. Yeah,
tight end. Yeah, I mean like if Mark Andrews slides, you can pick up a tight end later, but like there's no one there that you're like reaching for early, basically.
Well, Mark Andrews is going.
But they're a solid offense.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, he's
tight end 9.
Yeah, for them, it's they're a good offense that will put up points, but it goes through Lamar, who is run and throw, so he gets most of the points, and then he spreads it around so much he doesn't have like a favorite
nice
target.
Leaf is doing the memes. I love it. Hey, what's up, Spinners? I don't know if you guys can hear that cat.
Need a cat.
She doesn't want to be on stream right now. I get it, kitty. I get it. Go relax in your castle.
She's like, did I sign an appearance release for this?
Right. Yeah. Talk to my agent. Okay. So yeah, basically the take is for the Ravens, there's no real like sleeper pickup here, right? Like we know it's all the usual names. We know all the usual suspects, right? And you're just a little down on everybody other than Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Those are the 2 like main guys that you're confident in. Everybody else, Rashad Bateman, who you're getting like as a flyer, DeAndre Hopkins, who's probably not even being drafted, Zay Flowers, who's obviously going around guys that we said we'd pick over him. You're not super stoked about any of those dudes, so you're probably going to just like let them slide. And if you can get them on a value, you'll take a chance on them. But other than that, like you're not super, like at least me, I'm not going out of my way to like get a piece of this offense in a similar fashion like I do like the Ravens or sorry the Ravens, the Bengals, right? Or the Lions, for instance, from last year, or technically maybe this year like the Commanders, or this is a hot take, but maybe the Panthers, right? If like Bryce Young decides to have like a resurgent year. So these are things that obviously we'll discuss as we go through other depth charts, but the hot take, or I guess the mild take on the Baltimore Ravens, is we know what to expect here. There's really not a lot to
there's no surprises coming out of that team,
exactly.
Basically. Yeah.
Exactly. Cool. All right, we're moving on to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Pittsburgh.
Dude, the Aaron Rodgers thing. Let's just get that over with here. I'll let you take this one off because you know me. I'm gonna just start just spewing all sorts of nonsense.
Dude, I think it's just so dumb. Like Mike Tomlin, he's never had the coach hasn't had a losing record in like 15 seasons or something like that. Or he's been like super solid. I feel like this could be the year. Like Aaron Rodgers is garbage, and your backup is Mason Rudolph. Like you're fucked.
Right.
You're absolutely fucked.
No, 100%. We saw what he was like in his quote unquote full year with the Jets last year, and I mean let's just go ahead and look at the stats. They weren't like super trash now that I look at them, but they're not great. Let's be honest, especially if we're talking about Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback and his legacy, right? Or at least what we're used to seeing from him. Sub 4,000 passing yards, rough. 28 touchdowns, tied for 7th. Okay, that I'll say the ratio was actually decent, but still 11 interceptions. You got to be better than that. It's still.
I mean,
good,
he's going to DK,
but he's
going to DK this year.
Yeah, I mean, look at this QBR.
So like,
that's awful. 25th. Like that's,
well, no,
that's
it's
bottom
no,
of the
it's,
bottom of the
it's
NFL.
terrible.
Yeah.
It's garbage. But like, as much as like I don't. So as much as he was a problem last year on the Jets, and like that is very true, and he wasn't doing well. Like the Jets themselves are just such a shambles of an organization. Like you have Garrett Wilson, and I don't necessarily blame Garrett Wilson. I mean, I think he's young.
No,
He's not being coached in a very prudent way to like the Packers coaches took Devontae Adams and made him a superstar for Aaron Rodgers to throw to. Like that's not what the Jets coaches do. So like now he's throwing to DK and that's a different story. Like he's actually got someone on the team, but again, I just think the Steelers are such a shamble organization for like even going through with this, or like it feels so silly that they would do this.
This is, you know what this feels like? This feels like Mike Tomlin, I don't think cares. I think he just, it's really.
But is he twilighting this one?
Yeah. He's like, you know what?
He's like, I got tenure. They ain't firing me.
He's like, I'll take whatever fucking shit quarterback you throw at me. At least it's not another Kenny Pickett. Let's just, and no shade on Kenny Pickett. I know he's balls deep in a quarterback competition in Cleveland.
Some shade.
Yeah, some shade. But Aaron Rodgers, even 50 years old, is still probably going to be more viable than Kenny Pickett.
Yes.
And that is some shade. But
it's like, does he really think this is where he's going to win a Super Bowl this year? Like, I just don't understand. I don't understand what the Steelers are thinking or Rodgers is thinking. Like, he's old. He's not as nimble as he was. He's definitely not going to be the same player. And, like, do the Steelers really think that he's going to be the answer to getting them a Super Bowl? Or is this just like, are they like, look what the Jets did? They tanked so hard, they almost got first place. Or, like, first pick. Like, we could do that.
Yeah, that's exactly what it feels like. It feels like they're just going to...
Is that kind of the game?
If you want to run the offense, sure, we'll give you the keys. We got these young guys around you. Really... Honestly, not a lot of guys. Let's look at the offense here.
Dude, again, only rookie person that they picked up was the backup running back in the third round, Caleb Johnson.
Okay, all right, Caleb Johnson. We'll talk about him. All right, but let me just quickly say.
Sure, but yeah, we can talk about him because he's third round. But like everyone else, like we know what Calvin Austin does. I'm not expecting anything crazy out of him this year by any means.
Right. Okay. So this is the analysis we'll put on Aaron Rodgers. Okay. Just to button this up. He had multiple games under 200 yards. Right. So he had 1, 2, 3, 4 games under 200 yards passing. That's awful. Okay. He only had one game over 300 yards. Okay, so you're talking about 4 sub 200-yard games and only 1 plus 300-yard game. Okay, everything else was like in mid 200s. Okay, whatever. His completion percentage on the season was 63. Okay, which is not amazing, especially for him. And again, he only threw 28 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. I'm worried. Not just like nobody's drafting Aaron Rodgers. I'm talking about from like a pass catching perspective, right? So if we're looking at the depth chart here and you have DK, who, yeah, people are like, oh man, Aaron Rodgers got DK. Well, dude, Aaron Rodgers had Garrett Wilson. We just talked about him. We alluded to it already. Why were his numbers that shitty with a guy like Garrett Wilson? Garrett Wilson I've watched with a guy like literally Mason Rudolph, which is ironic about this. I've watched Mason Rudolph actually like connect with Garrett Wilson. Wait, was it Mason Rudolph? Am I making that up? Who was it? It was
on the Jets.
On the Jets. It was.
I can't remember all those shit quarterbacks.
It was Zach Wilson.
Yeah, Zach Wilson.
I watched Zach Wilson.
Generic quarterback number 2.
Yeah, I watched Zach Wilson somehow turn Garrett Wilson into a Pro Bowler or some shit, right? If I'm not mistaken, I might be misrepresenting this, but I believe that Garrett Wilson's Pro Bowl season was with Zach Wilson, right? So if Aaron Rodgers underperformed with Garrett Wilson, and Garrett Wilson had a step backwards with a guy like Aaron Rodgers, then why do we think that DK Metcalf is going to be any different? So I'm looking at DK Metcalf, who again is going in. Where's DK Metcalf? He's going wide receiver 21. Literally, James Cook is right above him in this rankings. Okay, you got guys like Cortland Sutton going behind him, Devontae Smith going behind him, Tedero McMillan going behind him. Right, these are all wide receivers that are going behind DK Metcalf. I personally would pick up any of those guys over DK Metcalf this year. It's nothing against DK. It's 100% everything to do with just the Steelers. They're a run-first offense, so I don't necessarily trust that they're going to have like a huge, passing game or anything like that. And Aaron Rodgers, who has shown that last year, even in a situation where like you have decent weapons around you, he's only throwing on average like 220 yards a game or some shit like that. Maybe a little higher than that, but still. He only had one game over 300 yards. 4 games under 200 yards. So I'm not trusting that Aaron Rodgers is going to run this offense and be able to put a, desirable product on the field that like I want a piece of. Like I don't want a piece of this. So DK Metcalf, no shade on you. You're a stud, no doubt. I'm avoiding him this year. If he slides to be in like the 5th or 6th round, maybe we'll talk. But personally, I'm avoiding DK Metcalf this year for all the reasons that I just stated. But Matt, what do you think? Is that your take too? I don't want to put words in.
Oh yeah, I completely am there with you. I don't. There's some teams I avoid. This is one of the teams I'm going to avoid this year. There's not. Like I'm looking at when I look at the depth chart, there's no one that's like. I'll pick up some random fuck before I picked up Calvin Austin or Robert Woods. Not picking up Aaron Rodgers. No. I wouldn't even pick up. Yeah, there's just nothing. There's nothing.
Well, DK, like again, DK is being drafted in like the fucking 5th round, early 4th round. So like in a lot of leagues. So it's like people apparently believe in the talent. They just don't necessarily. I think they're misrepresenting the expectations here, which is like we have to look at the numbers most recently because it's always like, what have you done for me recently in the NFL? And the most recent sample size that we have of Aaron Rodgers did not look good. So I'm not just going to assume that because like he goes to this team, which is, it's definitely a better team on paper, better defense, theoretically maybe decent offensive weapons. They had Breece Hall, they had Braylon Allen, they had Garrett Wilson, they had guys. You know what I mean? They had fucking Lazard. You know what I mean? Who's like one of Aaron Rodgers' guys. So like how they didn't make that work, I don't understand. Would you take Pickens over Metcalf? Oh, 100%, 100,000%. You could argue his situation got better than DK's. So the thing about Pickens and the thing about the Cowboys, there's turmoil on the defensive side of the ball with Micah Parsons. We don't know, and we'll go over this when we go over the depth chart for the Cowboys. We don't know if like that's going to get resolved. People are assuming like, oh yeah, come September 5th or whatever when the season starts, Parsons is going to be on the field. I don't know if I necessarily believe that. I think too much damage has been done, and if I'm Micah Parsons, it's about principle at this point. And so if Micah is out of the equation, right, Dallas Cowboys defense gets obviously worse. That offense is good and actually is better than it was last year. And last year it took a big step back. It underperformed expectations for sure. But you add a guy like George Pickens to that mix. You have CeeDee Lamb. You have Ferguson still. You got some young running backs. You have Dak Prescott, who just got his deal restructured. He just got paid more money, so he's theoretically incentivized to perform this year. Not to mention he's got to get that monkey off his back because he's got to get into the playoffs and go in and like make it far into the playoffs if like he wants to do anything for his legacy. That being Dak Prescott, and Jerry Jones for that matter. So if I'm looking at all those things, all that pressure, like they could just fold under pressure, sure, but that's not a fun narrative for me. I want to assume and project that they're going to do well offensively, right? They have a lot of reasons to do well, and they have a lot of opportunities to do well. that being the Cowboys, them being the Cowboys. And George Pickens is going to be a big part of that if that's what ends up happening. And so 100% I'm going to pick up George Pickens over a guy like DK Metcalf. I say all that to say, yes, I would pick up George Pickens, who is going, down here a full round later than DK Metcalf. But that doesn't mean I'm going to pick up George Pickens like over the guys in between. I'm saying if I'm staring down the barrel of a George Pickens and a DK Metcalf, those are my options. I'm picking up George Pickens, which sounds crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds crazy, but that's the world I'm living in with DK Metcalf and the Steelers and their offensive projection right now. I'm not super stoked about it. I'm not stoked about it at all. So let's move on from the Steelers. I want to fucking move on. Robert Woods, I don't really think is, he's a great player, but, Calvin Austin, whatever. I don't think these guys are fantasy relevant. Maybe Pat Freiermuth is fantasy relevant. We can talk about his.
Do you want to watch Caleb Johnson highlights really quick just to see if he maybe takes over Jaylen Warren?
Yeah, I like that. That's actually a good idea. I like looking at these rookie.
Take control of your.
Let's take a look at this highlight. All right, so this is Caleb Johnson, Iowa Hawkeyes. Big dude. Looks pretty good. I haven't watched any film on him, honestly, which is kind of nuts. Nice. Oh wow, sheds contact.
All right.
That's just bad. That's just bad tackling.
Yeah.
That's just bad tackling. Come on now.
I know. We gotta always remember it's college football.
Yeah.
Like half these guys are now CPAs and in the corporate world.
That was nice though. I will give him that last one. That was pretty nice.
Oh yeah. Kid looks good.
I mean, obviously you got NFL players that in that scenario he's getting tackled probably. But before then, I mean, he's got decent speed. It looks like he's pretty decisive with his holes. I mean, these holes he's running through though are fucking ginormous. Like he's not going to get those holes in the NFL.
They are, but it's nice to see some good north-south running instead of all pitching to the side then going up.
Yeah, that was a good run in traffic.
You can't really win NFL games if you're not driving it into the middle of the defense. You need to tire out the defensive line, and running it up the gut does that.
I mean, the Steelers are a run-first offense, so similar to the Ravens. Like this could be their ground and pound guy because it's not Jaylen Warren. That's actually why they got a guy like this because he's their their big back archetype. So Jaylen Warren's more of like a shifty, smaller guy. I'm actually liking what I'm seeing here. Again, some of these.
Me too, but these tackles are atrocious.
Either he's making them look silly, or all these tackles are just so silly. Like that you were never gonna get him there, dude. Like you were never gonna tackle that guy. Hold on. Let's run that one.
Yeah.
Oh man, that one.
Dude, nice effort though. Nice effort.
Okay, that one, whatever. Okay, this one right here. This guy. Oh, you were never gonna tackle him. And I know you're on a delay, so you'll probably see him. But
I know which one you're talking about.
Exactly.
This guy that just dies in the middle of nowhere.
It's like I gotta put effort on tape. That's it. I'm diving. I'm diving at the ankles. All right. So from what I'm seeing here, and I'm always a film first kind of guy. I'm film first, right? So film first means it's the eye test.
He looks good.
He
looks nice.
He looks good. You take context
and the highlights don't look like stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Where it's not like he's just making these wide open plays where against a broken defense from 3 games.
Right. I
mean, it's a bunch of different teams that he's doing this to.
He's doing a lot of good stuff well. Where was he drafted in the NFL draft? He was drafted in the 3rd round. Okay, so he's a third.
He was
guy.
3rd round. Yeah, he was 3rd round there.
So
which is
pretty
decent.
High.
That's decently good.
Pretty high for sure.
Yeah.
So a couple things that I'm noticing, at least on this tape that I'm seeing. Obviously, these are all highlights, so we're not seeing the bad plays. But from the good stuff that I see, He's decisive with his the hole that he's choosing, right? So that a lot of these times, like that one, it was just wide open. He just took the edge. There was nobody there even to touch him in the first 5 yards. So like it's almost designed that way for him, but that's still not necessarily just like a given for some of these guys. Some some dudes kind of like overthink it in the backfield. That's why they might misread the play or the block or the whatever the case may be. So he doesn't seem to have that issue. So that's already a plus, right? Then you look at his speed,
and
his size.
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
He's got hands to catch it too.
I saw some plays where he caught some balls. Yeah, that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. So
Nice.
Where's he going in fantasy drafts?
Probably real low. Probably real fucking low. But it could be a sleeper if like you pick up Jalen Warren, for example. Pick up this guy. Did I bet you he's so low?
Oh, Caleb Johnson, right here. He's RB29. So he's going right around
RB29.
Yeah, so that's actually pretty high. So he's going right around.
Dude, there's 32. There's 32 fucking teams
just
with
under Jalen.
32 starters.
Yeah, so he's projected to be at least a starting running back. So in fantasy terms, he would be like an RB3, right?
He's over Travis Etienne.
Yeah, I mean Etienne. I don't know
understandably, but Etienne's a fucking starter. I'm just saying, he's a starter.
No.
Joe Mixon's a starter in Houston too.
Well, I mean, look on the same team. Look where Jalen Warren is. Look where Jalen Warren is, right? So
I know, I get it. Yeah,
so the fact that
means that
they
don't know.
Exactly. Nobody truly
they
knows.
They think Caleb Johnson could take it. I'm in
the Caleb Johnson boat because I know Jalen Warren is not the archetype that they want to be, the like every down back, or even frankly just like the first 2 down back. Like he's more of a 3rd down guy.
Do you think he's gonna be like the Tony? He's like kind of like what happened with Tony Pollard a little bit. Like Tony Pollard was that great change of pace behind Zeke.
Yeah.
But then when he was required to do the 1 and 2, it was like a little rougher for him.
Yeah. That said, like, I'm not saying Jalen Warren is just going to disappear into the fucking nothingness, into the ether. Like, he's only 26.
No, but he's also...
Like, he definitely still has abilities that the Steelers will want to employ. So, like, yeah, he's not going to necessarily be the guy that they want to hand the ball off to the first 2 downs. That's going to be Caleb Johnson. I think they drafted Caleb Johnson to do that. If they got rid of Najee, they're like, you're not it anymore. We want somebody younger, somebody hotter, somebody who can do this thing. And frankly, like, it makes sense to me. That doesn't mean, again, Jalen Warren is going to disappear. He'll still have a role in this offense. So if anything, that depresses both of these guys' value in my mind, because like you're never really going to know, okay, like, is it going to be a Jalen Warren play? Is it going to be a Caleb Johnson play? In terms of how they load up the offense towards the red zone. If I'm looking at what the Steelers' sort of like MO is, it's going to be Caleb Johnson in those short yard carries. He's going to be the bruiser that they want to hand the ball off to, especially with a guy like Aaron Rodgers.
Well, and also it's going to be, I was going to say, it's who gels the best with A-Rod right now.
True. Hopefully this guy
whoever he feels comfortable. Yeah, basically whoever he feels is pass protecting him and dumping it down, and he can like trust him to be open for a dump down at the worst situation. That's the guy who's starting for him.
See, like, I wish we could have seen like a play in that highlight reel of where he just lays somebody out on a block for pass protection or something like that. We didn't see any of that, so I'm not sure. Like, I don't know like what the drafts, the scouting report says on this guy. He could be good at pass protection, maybe not. In the preseason here, though, it looks like he's averaging 3.7 yards per carry and has no touchdowns. But whatever. I mean, it's preseason, but like, I would say let's pump the brakes on the hype on this guy. I'm not super stoked about the offense in general. I think this might be a little too high for both of these guys. Like, I'm probably going to pick up definitely these receivers. I don't want to be in this round looking for my RB2. Let's just put it that way. I'm picking up my RBs much, much earlier. At least my first 2 RBs, I want to get way out of the way before I even think about any of these guys around this area, right? That said, I'm still looking at, let's see, who would even qualify here? Like, I don't see any RBs. Brian Robinson Jr., definitely not picking him up. with what's going on. Javonte Williams, I'm a little worried about him, to be honest. Jordan Mason, you can make an argument for scooping him up and stashing him, but even then, like, Aaron Jones has that job locked in. Charbo, okay, so I guess Caleb Johnson makes sense around this range, but like, again, I'm not going to try to rely on any of these running backs in this range as an RB2, maybe even an RB3 as a flex. This is definitely in the danger zone now, right? Hopefully you've already made your decisions.
Jalen Reed fell off so hard. I just saw him down at like 150 something. Like, my God, that guy fell off.
Jaden Reed.
Yeah,
well, he didn't
can't keep him this year.
Last year. Yeah, he didn't make his case to be the RB or wide receiver 1 last year for Green Bay, and they also drafted a guy should be around this range, Golden, but we'll get to him anyways. So
we'll get to them on time.
Yeah. So the consensus on, or at least the general sort of feeling that you and I have about the Steelers, I'm avoiding this team almost at all costs. If I'm going to pick anybody up, maybe it's DK Metcalf if he slips like a round or two from where he's being projected to go. Maybe it's Jalen Warren if I want to shore up my RB slot. If I picked up a guy who's like suspended or hurt or something like that who won't be coming online till later in the year. Jalen Warren might be a good plug and play for the first few weeks. And maybe Caleb Johnson comes online later on in the year. He's decent stash for sure. But those are the only guys I'm really thinking about. Maybe Pat Freiermuth too. But like, I am so sketch on this entire situation with this team. I think it's ripe for just like complete bust for all of these guys. And, that's just not me saying that as a Bengals fan and as a number one Steelers hater. I'm just saying that in terms of the vibes that I get. I try to be as objective as I possibly can when I'm talking about this stuff. And frankly, like, I'm not stoked about what I see Pittsburgh doing right now. But that said, Pittsburgh is one of those teams that they could have the shittiest fucking on paper situation. And Mike Tomlin is just one of those types of coaches. He'll just make it work, and he'll turn shit into gold.
He'll stare you down so you do it right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be on the other end of that stare. So what wins between an unstoppable force and an immovable object, right? So Aaron Rodgers is the unstoppable force, and Mike Tomlin is the immovable object. What happens when those two things collide? That remains to be seen. We shall see.
Yeah.
But it could be entertaining. That's all I'll say. All right. Any other final thoughts on the Steelers before we move on, Matt?
No, I think we hit it all. Just avoid.
It's a fantasy void, essentially. Yeah, probably will be. All right, moving on. Cleveland Browns. Yeah. We got to talk about them, though.
Yuck,
they are in the
but
AFC North.
An interesting situation, I think, at running back.
Okay.
I'll throw it out right there. And also at wide receiver, probably, too. I'll throw it out for running back first. Quinton Duncan's second-round pick. Jerome Ford is not a starter, dude. He is not a fucking starter.
Yeah.
Okay?
No,
he does okay, but, like, he is not... He again, is like that Tony Pollard character that is good for, like, a few downs here and there, and if your guy goes down mid-season, can come in and be, like, that guy that the teams haven't practiced for, and so you're doing pretty well for a few games. But, like, when teams prepare for Jerome Ford, he's preparable, if you know what I mean. Like, I think they need someone new, and this kid could do it.
Yeah. No,
that's all I'm saying. Running back situation is interesting.
No, yeah. I think you're spot on with the Jerome Ford assessment. Like, we saw him have some success when Nick Chubb got hurt a couple years back, and he had to step up into that role. And maybe it was that team didn't have a grip on him, or that he was, younger or hungry.
That's what happened.
Like,
but it happens every time a guy goes down. That next game that comes in, the running back that comes in does fucking good because the team doesn't prepare for him.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
Yeah. So this is that said, because you're absolutely correct on that. Last year he had 104 carries for 565 yards. That's a 5.5 yard
Really?
average, which is definitely solid. Like if we're talking about if he can get double this, like we're talking about 1,000+ yards. We're talking about the same average, obviously like maybe 6 touchdowns. His problem was touchdowns and volume. So, but
how many
efficiency
games did he
was
play?
Good. How many games did he play? That's
How
actually
many
a good question.
How many games did he play last year?
That's a good question.
Because if you played all 16 games, and Nick Chubb was doing dog shit when he came back, and you still only got 104 carries, like.
So yeah, it looks like he played most games, and he only peaked or cracked the
12 carries.
5 times.
5 times.
Yeah.
Wow.
So and he had lows of 2 carries per game, 2 carry per game. He had a 4 carry game, 5 carry game. So like, yeah, this isn't the volume you want to see for a guy. Obviously, nobody's going to pick him up. But if he's slated to be the starting running back, like, obviously he wasn't their guy last year. When Nick Chubb was hurt, yeah, he did get some, like, if we're talking about the 2023 season, which this was his good year, right? There were games where he had 20 carries, 17 carries. He had 107 yards here, 87 yards or 84 yards on 17 carries in this game. Still no touchdown, right? He only had 4 touchdowns that season. But like if we're talking about his usage, it was high, it was a little bit higher, and you could make an argument that maybe
He had
was
double
like
the
a decent
carries.
running back.
He had double the carries that year. Double the carries that year for half the yards added, basically.
Well, no, I mean he averaged 4 yards per carry, but like if you're talking about touchdowns, like that value didn't really change that much.
No, but what I'm saying though is he did 100 and something last year. Did 500. He did 200. Then did 800. So that's not a 50% increase in yardage.
I see what you're saying.
Basically,
Yeah.
for the carries provided.
Right.
Not that much.
Not a huge boost.
Like
but
that's to the point. Is like I don't think it's solid that he's the starter. I don't see a world in which we're talking about Jerome Ford as like, man, I'm so glad I picked him up.
Well,
I think there could be a world where you're like Quinshon Judkins is actually doing like popping off for me and winning me a few games right now.
Yeah, so if we're talking about Jerome Ford, where he's going at RB 49, so that's like way down here. That's like basically end of all drafts, and
right.
So nobody's really like looking to pick him up. Like let's look at where Judkins is going.
Where's Judkins? Yeah, I was gonna say where's Judkins going?
He's going higher. So at least 10 RB ranks higher. So RB 38. So people are obviously like you. They're higher on Quinshon Judkins. They're saying if I'm going to take anybody out of this backfield, it's probably going to be this guy because we've seen enough of Jerome Ford. And I will say, he actually did have some decent receiving numbers here. He had 63 targets. This is in 2023. So I'll look at his 2024 numbers in a sec. But he had 44 catches for 5 touchdowns and 319 yards. So that actually, like, he had more touchdowns through the air than he had on the ground in 2023. And let's just look at 2024 if that was the same thing. No, actually, his receiving numbers dropped substantially, and he had no touchdowns through the air. So, like, he only had 37 catches on 43 targets, 225 yards. So it's like, clearly he's just not the guy they want to employ in this offense. So maybe he'll end up being sort of like that pass catching back if they want to get him involved in the pass game more now. But as far as like what people are projecting, Quinshon Judkins is going to be the lead back, despite what the depth chart says here. Eventually, right? Does that mean they're going to be good? That remains to be seen. I don't think so. Joe Flacco was named the starter. What does that mean for the team? Probably good things. Last we saw Joe Flacco play, he actually was like running an offense pretty competently, and it was fantasy relevant. There were guys on that team like David Njoku, and I think Jerry Jeudy was a part of that mix, or maybe it was before they had Jerry Jeudy. Maybe it was somebody else that I'm blanking on right now. But Joe Flacco at least has shown that he can carry a couple other fantasy team relevant players with him, right?
Yeah.
We really can't say the same thing about other players in other quarterbacks on this team until we see more from
Not Kenny Pickett. Dylan Gabriel looked like dog shit in their game.
Yeah, and the fact that Shedeur Sanders is listed as 4th here, I mean, it's just a little bit of disrespect, maybe a lot of disrespect. But I know, at least I hope that he has good people in his circle that can help him overcome this, because I don't believe that the Browns is the final destination for him. I think he's going to overcome the Browns. The Browns are going to look foolish at the end of the day.
Dude,
if they keep this,
he belongs on such a better team than the Browns.
For sure. And the Browns know that. I think they know that this is like the franchise where quarterbacks come to die. It literally, almost every single quarterback they've ever drafted has been a bust. I can't think of one, maybe Baker Mayfield, who they let walk. But see, that's the thing. Baker Mayfield had his best career seasons after he left the Browns. So it's like, it's a franchise thing. It's clearly an organization.
Remember when they picked up Johnny Manziel?
Oh yeah, I remember for sure.
Johnny football.
Yeah, but all right. So you're high on Quinshon Judkins. Are you?
Yeah, you want to watch some Judkins highlights?
Yeah, let's look at.
Well, so there's two peeps. One that I'm interested just to wonder why is the backup tight end with a 3rd round draft pick for the Browns.
Yeah,
which I feel is, again, like, maybe I just hate on tight ends too much, but like, that's a really high fucking draft pick for a tight end if you don't plan on using him. It just feels very high.
You talking about this guy, round 3 of this year draft?
Harold Fannin. Yeah, like, it's just like, dude, it just feels really early for a tight end unless you plan on using it. That's all. That's my only point. You know me and my tight end theories, so I could be just off kilter, but I thought David Njoku was doing pretty well last year. It seems odd that they would pick up a 3rd round tight end unless they got a plan, unless he's like Hans McGee and could be a 3rd wideout potentially too.
Okay. I mean, well, let me just posit this argument here, okay? So, as we can see here in David Njoku's game logs, he did not play all 17 games last year. He actually missed a few games.
Right.
So he missed some games in September, and then he missed some games in December, it looks like. So he is known to get hurt. And so I actually understand why they maybe spent a 3rd round draft pick to just get another tight end to just add some depth. Sure, when David Njoku's healthy and he's on the field, he's your number 1 guy. That I've
like,
no
he's
doubt about that.
He's Hans McGee. Look at that. Like he's like, I mean, it's crazy. Like the guy just catches.
Okay. Well, let's just look at his numbers.
But yeah, no, I agree. If he's hurt, you're right.
5 yards, only 5 touchdowns for a tight end. That's serviceable, especially if we're projecting this over 17 games, right? Like, he's getting a decent amount of targets. Like he had 4 games last year with over 10 targets. So he's definitely getting the target share, especially. And we're looking at a guy like Flacco who likes to throw to his tight end. So I like David Njoku, I think, but where we're looking at why they would pick up a tight end as early as they did, it's just insurance. And unless David Njoku gets hurt, I don't necessarily see Harold Fannin Jr. like having much relevance. I don't. So I'm not worried about him. But just keep an eye on David Njoku's health is all I'm saying, right? That's it. But he should be good. He should be good, man. But they have Jerry Jeudy.
He should.
Sorry.
No, I said he should be good. But I mean, Jerry Jeudy's meh. Jamari Thrash, he's their other rookie that they got too.
Right, they picked him up in the 5th round. I'm not expecting a whole lot from him, even though like we can look at his film as well. But let's look at Quinshon Judkins' tape real quick.
I think you're gonna like this kid. I was watching some film with him the other day.
Nice.
Oh shit! Hold on, let me find PlayStation. Fuck. Another 3 months of PS Plus accidentally. God damn it.
Oh, nice little fake out. Oh, damn, he's got some speed. He's got
telling
some
you,
speed.
dude, kid's good.
How big is he? Is he let's see what is,
I mean, I'll tell you 1 second.
No, I got it. 5'11", 221. That's solid. That's solid.
He's built like a brick shit house.
Ooh, definitely got some speed.
Yeah, and listen, I'm loving the hairdo style with half blonde, half dark.
Oh,
like
he's gonna fit
he's
in.
bringing
He's gonna
style
fit
to
right
his
in
run,
with
bringing
the
style to the run
Njoku.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like their style is oozing from that offense right now.
Yeah. You're saying they got some swag. They got some style.
I mean,
Fresh
listen,
points.
Njoku and him, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple more players join the team. Yeah, dude, look at that. He's so fucking, he's so good. I think he's going to be someone that surprises people this year. I think Jerome Ford, here's how it goes. Jerome Ford starts the first game, but Judkins gets some time. We see a little bit of flash. And then Jerome Ford, second game, just disappoints him by the third, fourth game. This kid's getting bulk share. And then by halfway through the season, he's the number one running back for them.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely think there's room for him to just take over this offense for sure. Yeah, do you see how wide open that hole was? Like, I don't think he's going to be getting that in the NFL.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, listen, right. Even when there's, he usually have stiff arm, he just put down that guy.
I did. No,
the guy broke through the line, it was him and the guy, and he just put him down, stiff arm. Dude's a monster. And 211 or 5'11", 221 is nothing to sneeze at.
That's good size. That's good size.
You're beastly for a fucking 5'11" dude being 221.
Yeah, no, that's not like a sort
like
of like
Ted's 6'2", and he's like $180 when he's wet.
Well, I was just gonna say I'm 5'11", I'm like 205. So and that's not a lot of muscle either. That's not mostly muscle. That I got a little fat on me. So it's like he's mostly muscle, and he's that big. So he's definitely powerful for his size. I mean, 5'11" is perfect
dude.
RB size. Anyways, you don't want to be too tall. So
yeah, no, dude, you got to be shifty. You got to be quick. I like this guy. I like it. Yeah. He's passing the eye test real hard.
He is. That said, again, he's on a team here that we're watching where some of these.
He is on a shit team.
No, Ohio State's great. What are you talking about? Ohio State's amazing. He's
I thought you were talking about the Cleveland Browns. I'm sorry.
Browns. Yeah, no, he's on a bad NFL team, for sure.
Because I was gonna say Nick Chubb was on that same shitbag team and did pretty fucking well for himself. So it's not like player on a shit team can't produce.
Well, Nick Chubb was also a prolific talent coming out of college. He was a first round draft pick or something like that. Maybe a second round, but I'm pretty sure he was in the top 2 rounds. But no, this guy looks great. I'm not hating on him. I'm just saying what I'm seeing here, it's similar to the
Heck your legs.
What was that guy's name? Not Hampton. We were just talking about him. Wilson?
Caleb Johnson.
Jesus Christ. Similar to Caleb Johnson, where a lot of these, at least the big, because we're watching highlights, the big breakaway runs that he has, the O-line is creating the most space he will ever see in his entire life. He probably won't get those holes in the NFL. That said, there's still things like this where, short yardage situation, goal line, hole's not great. He finds his little, spot, and then commits and drives his legs. So he obviously, and he's on Ohio State.
Well,
they're a great football team,
and so I always
think
about this.
It was
but someone who's this big in college at that size and everything like that, when you get to the pros, dude, there's just a different training regimen because you're not going to school. Your job is literally to lift weights in the morning, practice in the afternoon, film in the afternoon, and then film after that. So you don't have to worry about going to class and studying and anything like that. You can literally be in the gym from 5 a.m. to 11. And you saw, Derrick Henry was big coming out of college, but he got so much bigger after he started lifting weights in the pros. And I think this kid's going to have that.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what his size is now, because obviously this is him in college. But I mean, those are good points. Listen, if he was on a better team, I think it would be a no-brainer. He would be much higher on people's draft boards because he's on the Browns. His draft position is inflated.
It's tough.
I do like what I'm seeing on tape, and if the Browns somehow...
But isn't that a good late-round pickup?
Yeah, no, definitely. I would absolutely spend a late round pickup on this guy. And I'm saying
Right?
if the Browns turn into a team that is surprising people, shattering expectations, whatever the case may be, if Flacco decides to take Shador under his wing and teach him everything he knows and say, fuck what everybody else says, like, I know you're going to be the future of this franchise, or at least the future of the NFL, so I'm going to teach you everything I know, just as a good mentor and student and teacher of the game, right? Which I could see Flacco doing. Then obviously Quinshon Judkins is going to be a big part of this offense if it turns into like a hot offense, right? Like, so just the ability that I'm seeing, the sort of he has the whole package in terms of, it looks like he can catch, he can run short yardage situations, he has breakaway speed, all that stuff. He has decent stiff arm ability, all that good power. Like, if the narrative changes around the Browns, he's an awesome piece of this offense. And so, like, I'm actually, as fucked up and weird as it sounds, I would be more inclined to believe that the Browns take like a weird step forward this year over maybe than the Steelers, right? I'm higher on maybe the Browns expectations than the Steelers expectations is what I mean. Yeah. So,
100%.
I don't want to get too ahead of myself here. Like, it's still the Browns. This guy again is going way down here.
Right, but again, in round 12, 13. Yeah, in round 12, 13. I'm looking for sleepers like this that just sit on the bench, and then one day I read something on SportsCenter or watch something that says Jerome Ford out, Judkins in. All right, he's in the flex spot now. You know what I mean? That's what you look for and pray for.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. That's like Christmas Day, when you hear that, and then, oh, hey, look at that. That was a pretty sick route that he ran. He's wide open, and then he just caught a touchdown there. So, again, he has good hands. So I could see this guy turning into a pretty big name if the narrative around the Browns changes. And I think, worth picking him up in the 12th or 13th round. I don't know if I would reach on him. There are some other guys around him where he's currently going that I'd probably pick up over him. Maybe not Tank Bigsby. We'll talk about Jacksonville and their running back situation when we go through their depth chart. Probably Friday or whenever we decide to do it. But there's some other guys down here, probably receiver wise. Probably Keon Coleman would take a chance on him over Quinshon Judkins if I need a receiver. Maybe Brandon Ayuk, even though he's hurt right now. Potentially, maybe Braylon Allen could potentially see picking up over Quinshon Judkins, but maybe even not, because I don't trust the Jets at all. So I actually trust the Browns more than the Jets, as weird as that sounds. So maybe Quinshon is actually kind of going in a good area here. I actually wouldn't feel bad picking him up over some of these other guys that I'm seeing down here. So, yeah, no.
Yes, I don't trust the Jets at all.
Right. Just know hopefully you're not picking him up to be like an RB2 or an RB3 for that matter. You're not picking him up to start right away. You're holding him on your bench, right? That's the best case scenario for Quinshon Judkins is he gets going in week 3, week 4. I don't know if he's going to start week 1, week 2. I feel like he'll get slow to start. It's just kind of what happens sometimes, especially when on the depth chart he's listed as the second guy. They have to give Jerome Ford the look first, and whatever the case may be. Sometimes coaches sort of are, to use for lack of a better term, are slaves to the depth chart, so to speak. But if he gets hot week 1 and we see it on film, it's obvious, right? It's undeniable. He could easily take that job. Jerome Ford's job is not safe by any means, right? I think you said it earlier. You're not expecting Jerome Ford to keep this job by the end of the year. So.
No, by the end of the year, I expect him to be in a different, to be backing him up and being a change of pace like he was.
Correct. They would just basically swap positions. Okay, well, anything else to talk about before we move on to my boys, my Bengals? Maybe the defense?
I think
Myles Garrett's trying to win defensive player of the year this year. That actually is a thing. So
you wanna watch just a couple of highlights on Jamari Thrash because he's listed as a starter. He's not a backup. He could potentially, he could become a favorite of somebody. Jerry Jeudy not. I mean, he's good again, but Jerry Judy's not like. When I think of number one wide receivers, I think of people like Keenan Allen, Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp back in the day, Puka Nacua now. Like those are I think of. I don't think of Jerry Judy as a number one necessarily.
No, Jerry Judy, despite how prolific he was in college,
dude.
This guy looks good. Played for Louisville.
I thought it was the big guy on the left that they were highlighting. He's small. I thought it was the big guy. I was like, damn, they got a big wide receiver. A little
smaller. He's 6'1", 185. So, 6'1", he's got kind of a, medium-sized frame. 185, he's definitely got to gain some weight. There's no way he's going to be able to last in the NFL if he stays 185.
Yeah, never mind. Sorry, Jamari Tash. Your position is not that great.
I mean, he's got decent route running ability. It looks like if he's at the top of the depth chart, right? Like if he's over David Bell. First of all, they have no names, right? Jerry Judy is their number one.
No names.
They got Cedric Tillman.
Yeah,
who could end up actually taking over as the number one, the de facto number one, but you're probably not going to draft either of those guys very highly or at all for that matter. And Jamari Thrash, 100% you're not drafting. I think, we'll watch a couple more plays here, but he was drafted in the 5th round. Yeah, he's on the top of the depth chart, but do you really want the wide receiver 3 on the Browns? I don't think that's what you're interested in, right? So unless you're in super deep leagues, or even maybe dynasty, but again, he was a 5th round pick. You're probably drafting other guys over him.
Ain't nothing about it.
Yeah, I mean he's fast. Definitely, don't get me wrong. He's that's a good. Yeah, I mean he fought for that extra yardage. We'll watch one more play and then we'll move on. Ooh, that was sick. Okay, nice. I'm glad we watched that play. That was pretty sick. Nice. Yeah. So, if, and it's a big if this guy gets relevant, it's probably only due to this team getting hot and everybody's going to be eating if that's the case, right? I don't think this guy's going to leapfrog Cedric Tillman. I don't think he's even going to overcome Jerry Judy in target share. You still have David Njoku there. We talked about Harold Fannin. So it's there's just a lot of mouths to feed if you're looking at just his fantasy relevance. So, but keep an eye on him. Maybe he impresses and, exceeds expectations, but I'm not really looking at him in any kind of meaningful way right now. So take on the Browns is, I think everybody's value is depressed right now, just because the uncertainty here. Obviously, they named Joe Flacco the starter. Sure, going into the season, maybe that increases some of the value of David Njoku. We see him rising up draft boards. Maybe you see Quinshon Judkins' value rising a little bit. He probably will leapfrog Jerome Ford on drafts just for the sake of people wanting to grab the long-term option over sort of the short-term guy, which Jerome Ford looks to be sort of just like a temporary starter here. It's only a matter of time before Quinshon overtakes him. But other than that, I'm kind of neutral on these guys. More, negative of I'm not stoked about these guys, but where they're going in drafts, I think the risk is baked in. People aren't super duper high on a lot of these guys. So I'm willing to pick up a guy or two, from this team later on in drafts if I need to, right? Specifically Quinshon Judkins and David Njoku. Those are the only two guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You pick up Njoku for your tight end because he's definitely worth it. And then Judkins, I think, is just a late round sleeper that you stash and, halfway through the season, you're stoked you have him.
Right. Exactly. And it looks like just so we're, being transparent here, David Njoku is going as tight end 7 back here in the 7th, 8th round. So that's a little too high for me, to be honest. If I'm talking about, okay, I can either pick up my tight end, right, David Njoku, who should do well, right? Like theoretically, as long as Flacco's there still and he doesn't get hurt, like he should be like a top 10 minimum tight end each week. Potentially a top 5 a lot of times. He finished as the where did he finish last year? The tight end 10, right? So he made the top 10 despite missing all those games. So if he were to play a full season, he could easily finish as like a top 5 tight end, right? That said, I'm worried about the health, and I think just this price is a little too high for me. If he slides into like the 8th or 9th round, maybe I'll snag him. But I'm looking at guys like Ricky Pearsall. I'm looking at guys like Caleb Johnson, who we just talked about. Jordan Addison, who's suspended, but I would absolutely pick up over David Njoku, because like at this point, if I'm already down here and I don't have a tight end, I'm probably punting on tight end anyways. David Njoku is actually pretty good value here, but like I personally don't necessarily believe in him long term. Like he's again injury prone. So just based off that fact alone, I'm projecting that he's going to miss some games. I'd much rather pick up a guy who I know what games he's going to miss, which is like the first 3. I believe Jordan Addison is suspended for 3 games. 3 game suspension. So Jordan Addison misses 3 games. The second he comes back, he's going to be like a wide receiver 3 at minimum, right? And that's obviously dependent on how JJ McCarthy comes in and plays in this offense. But like, we've seen Jordan Addison ball out of control before, and so I would much rather pick him up, have him on my team, riding my bench for 3 weeks, over a guy like David Njoku, who again, I'm assuming will miss about 3 games at least this year anyways, right? So it's like, that's your trade.
Yeah, I gotta figure out my tight end situation this year. I know, because I always preach don't pick them up till late. Well, last year at one point I had Stone Smart on the Chargers as my starting tight end because I just had no other options.
Yeah.
So I gotta figure out. There's a balance from where I was last year to where I was a couple of years ago. There's a in between that I have to find now.
I am a wait on your tight end kind of guy, and I think the earliest
am I.
Yeah, I think the earliest I'd pick one up this year, and I could go against this because, just of how things shake out. Like if I see a tight end from the upper rounds sort of slide a little bit because people are, sort of averse to tight. Like for instance, if George Kittle, like I think he's going way too high right now, and I understand the hype. But for instance, if he were to slip into like the 4th or 5th round, maybe end of the 4th, early 5th, I'd probably pick him up. Just because of the value. Like, because I'm actually high on a guy like George Kittle. I just don't want to pay 3rd round draft price for him when I could get somebody like Jonathan Taylor or Mike Evans or, Marvin Harrison Jr. or, Alvin Kamara or James Cook, who we talked about, who I'm actually super duper high on this year. So like, yeah, I'm not picking him up over any of those guys, personally. So anyways.
No, that's fair.
All right, so let's move on from the Browns. That's the Browns. We've talked enough about them. Let's move on to my Bengals. Let's go. I think everybody knows, like, okay, Joe Burrow is going to be a baller this year. Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, all these guys, we know they're going to be their defense is not going to be good, right? Like our defense is going to be just as bad, if not worse, as last year.
No, so here's the thing is you guys spent a lot of your draft capital on defense.
Yeah, but did you see our preseason?
Yeah,
preseason isn't everything. So,
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And listen, we were making the jokes. Yes, your preseason game, your quarterback got pancaked. And it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah. So, okay, that said, I agree with you. We did spend draft capital. And for whatever reason, we don't want to spend actual capital on keeping our defense intact by signing or extending Trey Hendrickson. It's really weird to me. I don't know. Like, if you're Bengals management, if you're the Bengals owner, Mike Brown, that's his name, right? Bengals owner? Pretty sure it's Mike Brown. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mike Brown. Just get it done. There's nothing to wait for at this point. Like, Hendrickson gives you if you're trying to win a championship, having Trey Hendrickson, who has the most sacks in the last 2 years in the NFL, on your defense is only going to help you achieve that goal. So if you think you can do it without him, fine, trade him, let somebody else pay him. But to let him languish like this, I think is a little bit of a disservice to him. It's similar to the Micah Parsons thing, where it's like, dude, just pay your guy. He's an integral part of our defense. And like, again, we can't just sit here and go into another year saying like, oh, we're just going to put it all in the offense because that's where all our money is. Like, that's not fair to Joe Burrow. That's not fair to all the guys you pay. That's not fair to all the people, the offensive linemen, the second string, the third string guys on that offense who are putting in all the work and all the effort to try and keep this team afloat, while the defense sort of just like lets points up every drive, basically. Like almost every drive, this defense is giving up points. You can't have that. You need.
I know that was the biggest thing. Well, that was the biggest thing about last year. It was like every post-game interview with with Joe Burrow was, Joe, how disappointing is it that you do so well and you're putting up like
prolific numbers,
MVP
numbers.
stats, and your team just can't get it together. He's like, what the fuck do you want me to say?
Man, it hurts to watch sometimes. Like so many games last year, like we can look at it right now. Okay, we're gonna look at Joe Burrow's stats, game log from last year.
By the way, that was my joke, if you will.
Yeah, Joe, your joke, Joe the goat.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. Yeah, look at this, 4,900.
The Joeyest of all time.
4,900 passing yards.
Yeah, dude, that's the Joeyest of all time, right there, baby.
40.
You see that tutty count right there? 43
interceptions. Incredible.
You see that? That's a 20% interception to touchdown rating, basically.
Yeah, that's
one in five touchdowns, or out of every 5 touchdowns, 1 was an interception.
Holy shit!
Damn.
Wide receiver trade. What's going on here?
Who just got traded?
Who's getting traded? Shit.
Let's break a little news. You go to ESPN. Don't you worry about this.
Yeah. Hold on.
Who the fuck's breaking news right now?
I think it's
Saints acquire wide receiver Devon Bell.
Really? Okay, that's not big news at all.
Come on now.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. I opened the ESPN app.
Okay, I got the notification on my NFL app. Whatever. Okay, so if that's the case, that's not big news. That's not big news. That's why
nothing.
I didn't say the name in the
There's no.
fucking
It wasn't a. There's no big name. Yeah. There's no big name.
Yeah. So okay, great. More on Joe Burrow. This year he should be spectacular again. I'm projecting he gets MVP this year. I projected he was going to win MVP last year. He should have won MVP last year, but that just goes to show you early wins matter. Early games matter. This 16-10 loss to the New England Patriots, that should have been a win. That's on our defense. You know what I mean? Actually,
Dude, do you see that passer rating
that could
of
be on our offense, too,
137?
technically, because they only scored 10 points. But yeah, what were you gonna say?
Do you see that one game of passer rating 137? Dude was a fucking monster.
Yeah. The passer rating 137. Where is that? Right here.
Game 5.
Yeah, game 5. That was a loss to Baltimore. So overtime.
Dude,
loss
but
to
he threw
Baltimore.
5 tutties.
Yeah, he threw 392 yards, 5 tutties, only 1 interception, right? And he's getting sacked way too much. 7 sacks against Denver.
That's the problem.
Week 17. 4 sacks against the Giants of all teams, even though they won that game. He's got to reduce those numbers. But your O-line need, but I don't think so much it's your defense as much as like your O-line needs to get beefed. Like they didn't do many favors for your O-line in the draft. Like they drafted a tackle later in like later rounds, and it's like that's where your trouble was. I mean, your defense was giving up points, yes, but like you said, Joey B getting sacked 7 times in one game. yeah.
That's unacceptable.
He took 11.
Like,
He took 15 sacks in the span of 3 weeks. Like you can't do that. You can't do that.
Dude, but look at that stat right there. 7 sacks in that game, and he still threw up 412 fucking yards with 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, and they won that game.
When you're doing that and you're getting sacks, like there's something your O-line needs to figure their shit out.
Yeah, no, that's incredible actually to be.
I hope he didn't buy them any Christmas presents last year because they fucked him.
He might have still bought him something, but
because he's a good guy like that.
Yeah.
He's the joke.
But the point that I wanted to make about the defense here is that how many games did the Bengals lose that were 1-score games? We'll count them. It might
Most of them
might surprise you. Okay.
I think it's most of them.
We went 9-8 last year. Okay, we're gonna count how many losses. So we had 8 losses. We're gonna count how many
8
losses were 1-score losses. Okay, week 1, that's a 1-score loss.
Yep.
Okay, 16-10. Okay, week 2, 26-25 against Kansas City. That's a 1-score loss. Okay, week 3, 38-33 against Washington. That's a 1-score loss. So we're already up to 3 1-score losses. Okay, next loss, Baltimore Ravens, week 5. That's a 1-score loss, 41-38 in overtime. Okay, next loss. Okay, Philadelphia actually beat us by 20 points. Okay, so more than 1 score. That's impressive. Whatever. That's the Super Bowl champs of that year. So we'll give it to them. Okay, but we're still talking about 4 out of our 5 losses, 1-score losses. Okay, next loss, 35-34. Baltimore Ravens again. 1-score loss. Okay, that's 5. All right, next Chargers. We went to this game.
We were at that game.
34-27. Awesome game.
Great game.
A bummer that we lost that game, but they lost by 7. 1-score loss. Again, so that's 6. Okay? And then the very next loss is the very next week. It's Pittsburgh. We finished the season with 5 straight wins. Okay? Our last loss was to Pittsburgh Steelers. Another 1-score loss. So 7 out of our 8 losses were by 1 score. If I'm in the front office and I'm looking at that, I'm like, dude, our defense needs to just make 1 fucking stop and we win 7 games. We literally go like fucking, like 16-1 if our defense can make 1 stop in any of those games. So,
well, it was absolutely incredible again that New England game, how amazingly shitty they all did.
Yeah, 16-10. I mean, that one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I almost don't want to blame the defense, even though it is New England and like they had Drake May, who was I think a rookie or something at the time, and it's just like, come on, like we need to win this game. They were not projected to win. Bengals should have won that game. All right. That being the case, I think the narrative is going to change this year. Obviously, that's why I think that's why we're seeing the starters play in preseason. I think Joe Burrow might have played a little too long in this last preseason game, but like, I'm not the coach. I trust in Zach Taylor. Hopefully he knows what he's doing. But this year, hopefully the narrative changes early on in the season. We don't just lose 3 straight games. And so back to sort of where what we're talking about fantasy relevancy here. Joe Burrow, he's going in like the 3rd fucking round, which is absurd to me. Oh, 4th round, sorry. QB5.
Yeah.
So I say absurd because I just think drafting a quarterback in any of the top 3 to 4 rounds is a little bit of a risk. I would probably pick him up though if it got to the 5th round and he's still around. I would probably scoop him up because I've already scooped up 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. Right? I don't want to leave the first 4 rounds of any draft without at least 2 running backs and or at least 2 receivers. Right? I want to balance my team out in the first 4 rounds with those staple positions. Dota in like 20 minutes. Soon.
Dota.
Hey,
thanks
like, for still being
he's
here.
Like sports still?
Yeah, right. Damn, you guys still talking about this shit? What the fuck?
He's like, how much sports can you talk about all fucking day?
All the sports.
We're going to talk about sports while we're playing Dota, Elon.
We just might. But yeah, Joe Burrow, I think is, like I probably pick up Devontae Smith, shore up my wide receiving core, get a wide receiver too if I need one.
Dude, see, that's where you and me differ. I reached for Joey B last year.
It paid off.
And it paid off.
I just think like what he did last year, okay, 4,900 passing yards is like
insane.
It's going to be hard for him to do that again. And so obviously I'm not expecting him to have like a yardage regression or a touchdown regression. 43 is a ton of touchdowns. Again, he should have won fucking MVP this year. If we had won maybe 1 or 2 games as a team, the Bengals, Joe Burrow would have probably won MVP last year, right? Nice. I love these emotes that you're doing, dude. They're awesome. Hell yeah. But so, you're drafting him about where he finished last year. Wait, no, sorry. Where did he finish last year? QB3. So you're drafting him a little bit under where he finished last year.
Yeah.
Which, you know what? Fine. I don't want to say anything bad about Joe Burrow. I think he's going to win MVP this year. Like, he absolutely should. He's due for an MVP. So if he does that, and like I believe he will, then he absolutely should overperform this QB5 finish that is projected to have. But at the same time, maybe that means the defense steps up. They could surprise us, right? We're expecting the defense to suck. If the defense actually steps up a little bit, takes a little bit of that pressure off Joe Burrow, well, guess what? That actually is good for NFL, Bengals, but it's not good for the fantasy output of why am I looking at these toe clippers of the Bengals players, right? So that means Chase Brown gets depressed numbers, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, the whole gang. That said, I'm high on all these guys. I wouldn't blame you if you picked up any of these guys ahead of where they're going in drafts.
Dude,
I'm high on all of them.
Jamar Chase is going number 1 overall, basically.
Yeah, that's my dog. You know what I mean? He's projected to be the number 1 guy for good reason. He could also potentially be, depending on how his season shakes out, him and Joe Burrow could be like similar to how halfway through the season when the Dolphins 2 years ago were doing like crazy shit with Tua and Tyreek Hill. Those two guys, people were talking about, is Tua and Tyreek Hill, like, are they in the MVP running together? It's like that could be the case with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase this year. So yeah, I mean, like, I'm fine with picking up any of them where they're going. And again, like I said, I could even pick them up even higher than where they're going and still be happy. Maybe with the exception being Joe Burrow because of how I feel about quarterbacks. But I think he could absolutely return on the value of where you draft him. If you are that type of person like Matt here who picks up quarterbacks that early, sure, absolutely could pay off. There's no reason why you shouldn't if that's the type of, fantasy player that you are. But yeah, there's really not a lot to talk about. I know we've like saved them for last, but it's just, they're awesome. They're just all studs. What more can be said? Like, is there anybody you want to call out? Like, I'm not worried about Samaje Perine taking over Chase Brown's workload at all. Like, Chase Brown's going to be the guy. T. Higgins is still going to do what he does. Jamar, like, he won a lot of people fantasy seasons last year. He won me a fantasy championship last year. So I'm obviously like happy about picking him up where he's going. People say I reached on him last year. It looked like it might have been the case how it started because he got hurt at the beginning of the season and was just looking super duper rough, but he paid off in a big way towards the end. So you can't really complain about how his season finished, and that's why he's going where he's going. And then as far as like the tight end Mike Gesicki, I think I'm actually looking into other guys. If I'm looking for a tight end in this tight end room, I'm probably looking at guys like, I mean, why did I think there was a guy named Hudson on this fucking team? Where is that guy? Where the fuck is that guy?
I don't remember. I was going to say the one rookie you got is the 3rd string running back.
Right.
Taj
Brooks, which,
Dude, you should look at that guy's picture. He looks like but you should look at that guy's picture. Dude, looks like a fucking...
Yeah, he looks like Omarion a little bit.
Like he's ready.
Yeah.
Dude, that guy's got like such a strong shoulder neck base, dude. He's ready to take some hits.
Yeah, like, a guy drafted in the 6th round like this, the only time where you would start thinking about him is if somebody else got hurt. And I don't want to even talk about that because that would mean Chase Brown or Samaje. So let's just not even project that. But that would be the only.
Samaje is like 40 years old, isn't he?
Samaje is not 40 years old, dude. I know it seems like
How
he's
old?
that old. How old is Samaje? Let's see. He's 29. So yeah, I guess he's 40 years old in like running back years.
He's 40 years old in running back years.
But all right. So like, but if anybody's worried about Taj Brooks, it's Samaje Perine. Okay. So, but unless anything happens to Chase Brown, which again, I'm knocking on wood, hopefully it doesn't, then I'm not worried about
Chase Brown.
Taj Brooks, right? So
you gonna reach for T. Higgins this year?
I mean, dude, he's going exactly where I drafted him last year. I drafted him in like the second round last year, and he's going in the second round. So no, I can't possibly reach for him because that means I would probably have to pick him up in the first round if it would be considered a reach. And I don't think I can do that, to be honest. That would mean passing up on
Fair enough.
Brian Thomas Jr. and Drake London and A.J. Brown, which I don't know if I can do.
I'm keeping Brian Thomas Jr., my guy.
Yeah, isn't that nice? He's a first-round guy. Welcome to the first-round captain.
Keeping him in the fourth round, though.
Oh, the fourth round.
It's not the best keeper. He's a fourth-round keeper, but he's a first-round pick right now, so that's nice.
True. Yeah, that's
so
value.
That's the benefit.
That's value. That's solid. So, all right. Consensus or just the general vibes on the Bengals are they're all being super highly drafted, and for good reason. They should absolutely be fantasy relevant. Except for maybe, the Yoshivasas of the world and the Mike Gesicki's of the world. Those are guys you probably aren't going to pick up. But the big core four here, Joe Burrow, Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, all those guys are going in the top 4 rounds of drafts, and it makes sense why. So, yeah, I mean, if the defense is just as bad as it was last year, you're going to talk about high-scoring games, and the offense is going to have to put up points. And if they're going to be as good as they were last year, then you're talking about high fantasy output, and you're stoked about that, right? So, yeah, really nothing else to add there. What do you think, Matt? It's pretty cut and dry.
I mean, it's true. Like, as much as I hate to say it because you're a Bengals fan, like, if the defense is shitty again, it is good for fantasy purposes because, this is an offense that is good. So if the defense is letting points through, the offense has to score, which is good for Joey. Like, I love I know you hated it. They lost by 1 score every time. But because of that, Joey B was throwing until the whistle blew, basically.
Right. No, I mean, yeah, no, it was great.
So, fantasy-wise,
great for fantasy.
Yeah, fantasy-wise, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantasy-wise, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, I had Chase Brown and T. Higgins last year, and boy, let me tell you, as tough of it as it was being a fantasy or a fan of the Bengals, it was awesome for fantasy, and it's hard to.
Yeah.
When they bring you a fantasy championship like that, even though they missed the playoffs, like, well done, Bengals. You're champions in my heart. You know what I mean? So,
listen, if there's one thing I can say about fantasy drafting, it's you don't always want to go for the number 1 team. Like, yes, like when the Chiefs were hot, they were putting up points, but like a lot of times when you go for the hot team and they're not playing from behind, your guy doesn't get all the points you need, and then he gets benched because they're so far ahead, or they're just going to run the ball out because they don't want to lose the ball.
Right.
So, not saying your guys are bad by any means, but it is nice. It is always good to look for teams where defense is a little bit of an issue and the offense is strong like this, because you can eat from an offense like this. Like,
big time.
All of those, the top.
Matt, are you there? Oh shit! I think we lost Matt. All right, well, that might be the natural stopping point for our fantasy football segment. We're gonna get into some Dota in a bit, so hang around. I'm gonna take a quick.
I'm here.
Oh, hey Matt, what's up?
My bad. Someone called and I declined it, but it muted me still.
Oh, nice. But yeah, no. Hey, Game Time Tie is back. We're back. We're gonna be doing this
Let's do it.
Every Tuesday and Friday. We're going to try to do Tuesdays and Fridays. I know today is Wednesday, but we decided to we missed yesterday. And so we decided to do today's stream just to start it off, but we're going to try to do Tuesdays and Fridays going forward. And so that means the next stream is going to be Friday. So if you hung around till now, thank you so much. We're about to start playing Dota. So if y'all want to play some or, watch some Dota, feel free. But, this is definitely going to be a big change of pace. So I wouldn't hate you if you decided to bail. It's all good.
Elon's like, yeah.
I know, right? It's time. Finally. So I'm gonna take a quick 5-minute break. Matty Boots, I'll hit you up on Discord if you want to play. I know you're trying to play, but yeah, this has been Game Time Ty, and we're out of the fantasy football segment, y'all. Peace. It's been a lot of fun. We'll hit you up. I mean, I'm gonna stay on and play Dota, but for those who are bouncing,
yeah,
feel free to bounce now.
Please. All right.